Hey, I'm Jim Weber in the Fox 13 Weather Center. Thanks for logging on to MyFoxHurricane.com. So we have two named systems that we are watching. We also have another area that we are watching way out into the Atlantic. But first stop, let's talk about all the names that we've used. We've got Peter and Rose that are currently out there, but next name on the list is Sam. So we're making our way through this list at a pretty good clip at this point. So you look at the big wide view, we've got Tropical Storm Peter, we have Tropical Storm Rose, and then further out into the Atlantic we also have this Invest 98, which is looking more and more impressive, and it has a pretty decent chance that we're going to see some more development with this as we go through the coming days. But first we'll look at Tropical Storm Peter. One of the things you should certainly notice right away is look where the center is and look where all the convection is. This is a system that is dealing with a lot of strong wind shear. In fact, you can actually see to the north and west, you see that little spin right there? That is an upper level low, which is helping to produce that wind shear. Remember, that wind shear just blows the top of the storm off, and it is shearing all the clouds well to the east and northeast of the center for this system. Now, Hurricane Reconnaissance Plane, they were flying out in this system, and they're still finding that low-level circulation, still finding winds of 50 miles an hour, but as we go through the next several days, it really doesn't look like we're going to see a whole lot changing with this system. It's just going to continue to work its way on towards the west and eventually the northwest, basically just working its way right into more of this wind shear over the coming days. Now, if it can hold on for a while, it may eventually find an area where the wind shear decreases some and might actually start to intensify a little bit. But other than that, what we're looking at is just really a continuation of either holding its own or weakening. But there's where you see as we head towards the end of the forecast period, if it can hold on, then it might start to work its way into an area where the wind shear decreases some, and we'll have to wait and see if it can make it all the way to that point. Now, further out into the Atlantic, here is Tropical Storm Rose. This will continue to work its way on towards the north and the west over the next several days. Just kind of looks like meandering, or really not strengthening all that much as it makes its way on to the north, eventually over some cooler waters. But again, this has been dealing with some strong wind shear as well, so that will be continue to pose a bit of an issue for this storm. So there you have Rose, which when you first look at it, Rose is up here. You first look at it and you're saying, hey, this looks like a fairly impressive system, but Hurricane Center in their discussion, they're talking about we use a lot of really highly sophisticated techniques and equipment to really kind of analyze these, not just looking at the satellite imagery, but something called a scatterometer, where we're looking at the winds in this, and what they're noticing is at the mid-level and the lower level circulation, the winds, they're not stacked on top of each other. So that tells us that this system is dealing with wind shear. But also in the view here, that is that Invest 98. You're seeing quite a bit of convection with this, and it does look like this will just continue to work its way on towards the west over the next several days. You can see it's at a lower latitude, so it will continue pretty much untouched by some of these stronger winds that are just to the north of it over the coming days. But still looks like it'll take some time for this to develop. But you can see that track basically continuing on that general westward track. Plenty of time to watch this, plenty of time to see what kind of development we continue to see with this. Of course, we'll keep you updated right here on MyFoxHurricane.com.